Ashe, everyone. This is Innocence Smith, High Priestess and CEO of She She Witchy Wellnez. So today I have a special video for you. Say as we prepare our space and ourselves yet again. And today's video is a deck tour of the Kemetic, aka Egyptian themed tarot and oracle card decks from the vault of She She Witchy Wellnez. So without further ado, and some of that is for you. There you go. Just to get our space prepared. Let's prepare our hearts and minds for this, even though it's a deck tour, but still. I just like to make sure that all is well and right within our space as we get started. And this is just to help cleanse and clear the energy of the decks. Okay, so that is my sole purpose tuning fork that I like to use for helping to clear the decks, clear the air. All right, so this is a retake because people just can't help but disturbing us as we're in the midst of our beginning. So in any case, I'm gonna pick up where we left off and just go back over this. So as I said, this is a deck tour of Kemetic African and Kemetic inspired tarot card decks. I recently shared some other cards from our collection from the vault that were our African inspired, but this specifically is more like of the Kemetic side, right? So you'll see what I mean in a bit. It's the difference. And then I have another really special treat coming up for you guys soon, and I'm going to unveil the finalized edition of the Forbidden Tarot cards, and also the Forbidden Tarot expansion pack, and then also the Forbidden Oracle. So I hope you stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up. So where I left off and where I'm going to pick back up is on a deck that pays homage to Kemeticism, right? And that is Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. And this is just the box for one of the decks. And here's the back side, the artwork that is. And I don't know about you, but personally, one thing that I really appreciate about Aleister Crowley was that he did not try to take credit for something that, you know, people of Kemetic African descent originally created. And he's one of the few beings that actually tried to give credit where credit was due. I'll say it that way. All right, so here's the fold out that came out of that particular box, the poster. And it is what a lot of people refer to as the Celtic cross. Celtic cross. Whatever. So this tarot deck consists of the 22 major arcana and the 56 lesser arcana or minor arcana in the series. And I have these cards in two different sizes. Now that box that I just showed you, it came with a box within a box, right? So like this tuck box came inside of that box, and here's the back. And Lady Frida Harris is the illustrator of this deck. So it said Aleister Crowley gave instructions, right? He like directed what he wanted the deck to look like. She brought it to life. All right, so that being said, I'm gonna show you the two sizes I have this deck in right now, because I wanted a backup deck. I wanted more of a traveling deck, and one size is more like standardized tarot size. The other size is like the oversized cards, but not the largest ones, just oversized. I will say this ahead of time. Please, please be kind. In case you happen to hear some background noise, I'm not alone. Actually caring for someone who is ill right now. So if you happen to hear that, have some grace and thank you for your patience and understanding. All right, here we go. So oversized deck, standard size deck that I have not yet to modify. Like I have not trimmed this deck yet, but I do plan on it. This deck I trimmed already. And when I tell you that was stressful and time consuming, it was stressful and time consuming. So let's start with the regular size deck, shall we? All right, so first of all, we have a card in here for the Ordo Templi Orientis. So you get that as a calling card, right? In addition to that, this is a deck tour, so I'm literally just, showing you kind of around the cards. Unless I state otherwise, most of all these cards that you see in here, I have modified in some way, and usually with them, like I've gilded these cards myself. Some of them I've actually, cut down, some I have not. So here we go. Here's the full. I love how thoughtful these cards are. Here is adjustment. Here is the bonus card, and it's a whole thing. So if you get this deck, you'll find out what that means. Here's power. Here is the Ten of Wands or oppression. Oh yeah, let me back that up also. So the Four of Pentacles or the Four of Discs is known as power. Should tell you that if I'm going to say that. And then here's the Three of Cups or chalices, and this is known as abundance. All right. Let's see what else shows up here. These cards are not particularly in order because, working with them, right? So I'll show you a few more, one or two more. One of my favorite death cards. The death card is one of my favorite. I don't care what the deck is. Like, I either love it or I hate it, but I love this one. Right? Beautiful. Okay, so as I showed it to you in this size, let's see what shows up in the larger card size. Just curious just to see which cards want to present themselves. But it's the exact same deck. It's just a different size. And actually, these cards come in 4 different sizes, which is pretty great. I love that for them. Cardstock-wise, I'm going to tell you, it's, it feels like low Scarabeo, sort of, typical cardstock, right? All right. So they shuffle well. Here is the Seven of Swords or futility. See what else wants to show up here. Here is the Knight of Wands. Here is the Five of Wands or strife. Show you a few. As like I said, I showed you from some of the others, right? So here is the Ace of Swords. Here's the Star. Stunning cards. The Princess of Swords. And who else? The Tower. Truly, truly, truly love these cards. They've got so much resonance, and I mean so much energy. Like, immediately upon receiving these cards and opening them, before I even began to work with them, like, I could literally feel their power. It's very palpable. So I very, very much enjoy these cards. Enjoy working with them. And one thing that I really love about them is that they didn't try to make it an Egyptian deck, right, or a Kemetic deck. But it very much pays homage to, you know, Kemeticism as, you know, a founding root system of this system, if that makes sense, is a founding principle of the card's origins. So anyway, all right, so without further ado, so that's that, right? I started you off with that. Now, bear with me, because she's got a sip, sip. Okay. So then I will take it to a true, more Kemetic themed deck. So this is the Tarot Nefertari. It is a low Scarabeo deck. That being said, you can see how easily tuck boxes are just like trashed. Those Scarabeo decks are not, especially that shoulder, back, side, front, face. And this deck is loved by me. Now, it, as you can tell, right, has a gold foil backing to it, which I love. And so here is like the little guidebook. Typical low Scarabeo. It's in all the languages. I'm not going through that. There's like one tarot card spread in there, and it's in English and then all the other languages. I'm not going through that. Cardstock is low Scarabeo, meaning it's not thick, it's not thin, it's thin-ish, thick-ish. It's like a ish deck. It is flexible, somewhat pliable, right? They don't bridge well, not very well. Like, they will bridge, but not exceedingly well, I'm gonna say. Here's the back of the cards. I love it. And let's start you off. So yeah, I did that. They didn't come that way. So here is the Ace of Chalices, the One of Chalices. And it has, as you will see as we go along, right, like all the languages, one, chalices, right? All those different languages are included on all the cards. That's one thing I don't love so much about the, you know, decks like this, but I get it, right? I get it. If you're going to put a language and it's a multilingual deck, then you got to kind of put all the languages on it, right? Makes sense. All right, so here's the Five of Chalices. When I tell you, oh my God, I love the 2D sort of, you know, like layering and dimension of this deck. Like, it gives me chills. All right, this is the Hangman. love that. It gives it so much depth of character. Do you know what I mean? Like, that just absolutely does it for me. Here's the 9 of chalices. Don't know why so many chalices wants to show up in the cards. Whatever. Here's the 3 of wands. Here's the 7 of swords. But these cards, you guys, oh my gosh, I love them. Here's the Queen of Swords. Feeling that most of the ones I'm showing you are going to be the lesser arcana. Here's the 7 of Pentacles. Which is cool. I also just want to kind of show you like a little bit more of the major arcana, right? Here's the Fool. I mean, one of my favorite Fool cards, like ever. Here's the Empress. And I'll show you maybe like 1 or 2 more. Here's the Hermit card. Hold on. Right? Like, they're stunning. They are stunning. So I'm not gonna do all the shuffling and everything because you can't see it right now anyway. As I'm positioned, I intentionally did that because I'm trying to keep this video short and sweet, as short as possible and sweet. And we're already into around 17 minutes, so you know. All right, so next, and this is 78 cards, by the way, because it is the full major and lesser arcana. So here's the Cleopatra, also low Scarabeo deck, by the way. So when I say that, just know that the paper and the flexibility and all that stuff, when I say typical low Scarabeo, including the guidebook, typical low Scarabeo. Now this deck was created by Etta Stocio and Silvana Alessia. Here's the side, shoulder, other side. See? 78 cards. All right. And so with this one, now this one I will say, I'll show you as we go along. I'm just going to let you glance at the guidebook, which I edited. You know, you've seen one Low Scarabeo guidebook, right? All right, here's a Low Scarabeo marketing card. That's in all their decks. Here's the back of the cards. Now, if you notice anything, and it's okay with this deck, I'll tell you what's okay with this deck. It's okay with this deck because it is a Cleopatra themed deck, right? Yes, Cleopatra, that same ruler of Egypt, but Egypt as in the Greeks and the Romans and the, you know, not the African. So what they did though was try to assimilate and use the African identity, the Kemetic identity, which they did, and whitewashed it. But that being said, it is true to what it's supposed to depict, right? How they borrowed the identities. It's okay. All right, so here's the world. Oh yeah, melon for melanated deck. Get it? Melon, melanated. Haha. Love to play on words. Here is the Knave of Pentacles. Here is the star. I'm gonna honestly tell you, I'm gonna stop right here and say real quick, not one of my favorites as a depictive of the star. Even though I love this sort of, you know, papyri like background, right? I don't know, something about the colors just don't do it justice, and it's quite simple. And the reason why I'm not loving it is because I really feel like as that is the goddess Nut, and you know her consort, her husband, and Nut is the goddess of the sky. They really could have depicted her with a different sort of hue, if you will, right? Like they could have depicted her as like black or blue black or something like that, or purple even, right, to represent the night sky. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, as I said, right, you know, it is what it is with this deck. So here's the Eight of Pentacles. I mean, it's commit-ish. It's not comedic, it's commit-ish. Here is the Knave of Chalices. Because, you know, when you don't know what to do and you borrow from other people's stuff, right? You show what you show, because it is what it is. Here is the Fool. Otherwise known as Goddess. Love it. Love it, love it. Here's the Four of Wands. And one more, let's see. I mean, you know, should I randomly show you something? I'm trying not to be biased here, so. Ace of Wands. Right, see? Like I said, beautiful deck, overall, for what it is. Beautiful deck. I like it, I work with it. I got it because I thought that it had much more of a Cleopatra theme, although, you know, it's a tarot card deck. And maybe they would have went more that route had it been like an oracle deck, but it's Egyptian tarot, right? It's just different name. Like they just decided to call this one Cleopatra Tarot, and you know, have some different artwork, if you will, on the back and whatnot, right? And some of the cards, I'll grant you that some of the cards are different, but majorly it's the same. Telling you so you can, you know, not waste your money if that's not your thing. If you don't want to have repeat decks, I'll say it that way. But it's very similar, not the same, but it's very similar to the Tarot Nefertari. But, you know, bling, not bling, and some of the artwork is different. Some of the main characters are different. All right, so here we go with the Egyptian Gods Oracle. And this is a 36 card deck. Look at that. By Savannah Alazia. That same artist that I told you about, right? The same artist from this deck. And I want to tell you, I don't recall them putting it on the Tarot Nefertari, who that creatrix was, but not the same. All right, so open that up. Show you basics of this. Except not. And I have another deck by her here. So we get a guidebook. Now this is actually a pretty nice guidebook. Nice size. From Los Garabeo. But one of the reasons why there's so many pages is because it's in all the languages. They give you some, you know, some images of the cards in here. It's not full size, but it also includes a write-up, which is pretty nice. And before you even begin, they give you an overview of the deities from the major arcana. Yep, the deities. And, you know, basic card spreads. All right, there we go. Cardstock. I actually really like this cardstock. I would not call it typical low scarabeo. I would call it low scarabeo, like that tarot card stock, but more game card stock. It's almost like that. So it's a little thicker, right? It's a little thicker, and yes, I did that. Didn't come like that. I did that. That little bend that's in there is kind of permanent because, I don't know, it's just, that's how they showed up, and I've never been able to get it out, that bow, that bend. So you can keep a crystal on it to help. So the back of the cards looks like this. Right, that's the back. And I shuffled these cards. I shuffled them, so they're kind of all over the place right now. It's all good. Yeah. All right, and so here is Sekhmet, Justice. Beautiful. Here is the goddess Mayat, or the deity Mayat. Truth and fairness. Here is Nefti, meditation. Here we have the deity Osiris. Death and rebirth. Here we have Anuket, hope. Here we have Satet, fruitfulness. And we have Selkis, healing. Love this. And the final card that I'll show you is Nefertarium. And that little beauty is a Tayet. Yeah, you will see this associated with the goddess Aset. Some call her Isis. She is the goddess of 10,000 names, the deity, the goddess of 10,000 names or more. But whatever you call her, she is the mother goddess. Know that. All right, so also by Sylvania Alacia, I have the Egyptian Tarot. This is also in a heart-sided box. It's low scarabeo as well. And this is a major arcana only deck. So therefore, oh, here's the box when you open it up. I use it more or less as an oracle card deck, guidebook. Now, don't be fooled. This is a low scarabeo guidebook. So it's very thin. And even with that, it has English, Italian, Spanish, French, Dutch, and Russian languages in it. So that's the only reason it looks to have the pages that it does, which is only like 35 if you include the write-up, right, about Sylvania, and then the notes page, which actually the notes page is like the last, starting with like page 30 on. It's just for notes. So, you know, but it's a gesture, right? Appreciate that, because you don't really need it. All right, so here's the back of the cards. And I have yet to call these cards, right? Like I have yet to stylize them. So we start off, here's the world. These cards work beautifully, by the way, as clarifiers, as guides, or if you just want them. There's a lot of ways that you can use them. It doesn't have to be as an oracle, but I like them for that. Here's the Empress. I also really love meditating with these cards and for body work and a whole host of other things. Here's the Hermit. because they're just stunning. Here's Temperance. I'll show you one more. Da, 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 da. Here's Judgment. The final card, Judgment. The final judgment. That's funny. Anyway, love these cards. I'll make a whole separate video for you guys about, you know, how to use the cards and some of the different ways that we can use them, because there's a lot on that, but I don't want to get into all that on this video. That's not what this is about. All right, so next let's move over to Letero de Kemet. Thank you. This is a French version though, because that was the only way I can get my hands on this deck. They're by Iris Canton. Oh yeah, as I said, here's the back and the sides. Now, I'm sure at some point there must have been an English version, but as I could not find an English version of this deck, I was like, I want those cards. So I wanted them so much, I got them in French. You'll see why in a minute. All right, so guidebook. Yeah, that's a guidebook. And this guidebook, again, although it's in French, right? It's about 223 pages long. And it gives you a breakdown of all the cards, and it also gives you pictures of the cards, which I really love. And baby, yeah, she knows a little French, and then also, you know, translation. So that's not a big deal. I didn't really get it for the guidebook anyway. I got it for the cards. You'll see. So they come in this leathery little satiny bag, right? Drawstring bag. So we open it up, and there's a back. I love that. Do it again. There's a back. Yeah. And you'll see why I love these cards so much. So here's the sun. Oh yeah, I'll tell you about cardstock when I'm done. Here's Judgment. What? That's right. Here is the Magician, or Le Bateleur. Yeah. And if you notice, there's some different tools on that Magician's table, right? Talk about that later. Very different. Also talk about why they changed it. Here is the Hierophant, or Le Pape. Here is La Justice, which also happens to be the goddess Mayat, by the way. Here is Strength, or La Force. One of my favorites. Here is Death. If you haven't guessed by now, these cards are more Thoth-inspired style, right? But Thoth done in comedic, with a comedic twist. Here is the Tower, or Le Maison Dieu. Le Maison Dieu, sorry. I don't care what language they're in, they're just beautiful. Here's the Star. Do you see what I mean when I said that you would see why I wanted these cards? I'll show you one more. Here's the Moon, La Lune. I mean, do I really need to say any more than that? See what I mean? That's why I had to have these cards so stunning. And again, like this is a, you know, major arcana only deck, but it's totally fine. It's totally fine. I like to play around with this deck. For one thing, I love it. I love it as a companion and a clarifier for the Thoth tarot or any Thoth style deck, right? It just lends itself so well to that. And so for that reason, with my traditional Thoth tarot is what I like to use that deck with. It's amazing. They are amazing. Not it's amazing, they're amazing. All right, so this one is really special to me also. They all are, but this is by Travis McHenry. And this is an oracle card deck. It is the Egyptian Star Oracle. And this is a rock pool deck. Right? The box. Right? The box. All right, so we pull it open this way. This way. Just slide. And it comes with a pendant, right? For the eye. The Ocean eye. The eye of Horus, that is. Thank you, Mr. McHenry. And this is a 78 card deck, by the way. So major and minor arcana. It has a really nice size guidebook. Try not to drop anything. You can't tell, but nice size guidebook. It's pretty meaty. This guidebook, by the way, it's all in English. You get the English version. And every page has a full, almost full size layout of the card. And then it gives you a breakdown of it. You get some card spreads in here, which is really nice. You get a full meaning of the card and a breakdown. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of great. So, but not going into guidebooks just yet. That's if I was going through these cards individually, and I'm not. It's just a deck tour. So you get the rock pool little pamphlet, right, sheet, handout for the cards. And then we also get some beautiful cards. So here's the back of the cards. They are gilded, by the way. Gold gilded. And these cards have a really nice card stock, although it will very easily bow. So you have to be careful about that, how you store them. And try to, you know, keep them flat, but they will bow on you, especially if you are like trying to, you know, bridge them a lot. So I don't do that, but they can easily be straightened out. So no worries. All right. So to the cards themselves. Here is Kinmit for the cat. So, as I said, oh, I said 78, didn't I? I don't think it's quite 78. I think this is like more like 56 cards, but either way, it's an oracle deck, not tarot. So, know that. Okay, here is Tamat Heret. Remember the cards I'm holding. Tip Ikenet, predecessor of Kemet, balance. Here is Henri Ibui. Saret. Show you a few more. I'm going to actually break this up into 2 different videos just to keep them kind of short. Here's Bowie. go. And here is Osiris. Okay. Okay. So overall, really enjoy all of the cards in this collection. And as I have about as many left to show you as I've shown you already, and I don't want this video to be like an hour and a half long. Like I said, I'm going to break this up into a part 1 and part 2. But you have just seen part 1 of the cards in this collection. So I will do another video for you guys very soon, and I'll be showing that to you. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like or a thumbs up, share, subscribe, share it with someone that you love, and comment. I really appreciate your comment. I just like your feedback on what you think about these cards. So until next time, I wish you guys all the best. Love, peace, and blessings. Ashe. Thank you.